Hey y'all, this is Heather McFadden.
And Cynthia Yanof.
Welcome to season 1 of Sidetracked. What you're about to hear originally aired on the Don't Mom Alone podcast.
And so for your convenience, we put all of our Sidetracked episodes in one place. So enjoy.
Enjoy. I have never heard of Leanne Morgan.
Okay, you haven't heard of Leanne Morgan.
No.
I feel like
It's like you and Bob Ross.
I was just getting ready to say, I feel like you totally mansplained or womansplained Bob Ross to me. Is it Bob Ross?
Do it back, Bob.
Betsy Ross?
Hey y'all, welcome back to the Don't Mom Alone podcast. I'm your host, Heather McFadden, and this is the place where I get to walk alongside you and connect you with people and resources so you know that you don't mom alone. And this is a special feature that we are offering the first Fridays of every month, and we're calling it, drumroll please, you've already seen it in your little podcast player, Sidetracked with Cynthia and Heather. We'll be here first Friday of every month. Make sure you're subscribed to the show so these episodes pop right into your feed. Today, we are talking, yes, back to school. I know in California, this is the week you started. In Texas, we've been in school for weeks. Whenever you start back, we're just talking about fall goals. We also talk randomly about comedians and scrapbooking. We even share a couple businesses. Cynthia and I thought we should have tons of time, and we should probably do a few more things. So you'll hear about those in this episode. Let's get right to it. Here we go.
Okay, Leanne Morgan. She is a comedian, and she is on the Netflix, but I think she's in a lot of places. You can find her on Instagram. She has a Netflix special. She is hilarious, and she's probably close to 60. And
no.
She talks.
Really?
Okay, I have a bias against Christian comedians.
Okay, I'm going to look her up.
You can Google that, yes.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I don't know why
your
I have a bias against Christian comedians, but I'm like, are they just going to talk about the hedge of protection and the church words we all use?
She's the one who's Catholic.
So she is
she was Catholic, or she is Catholic.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she falls under, she's not holding herself out to be a Christian comedian or whatever.
No.
But she's clean. And she's, have you heard?
I've seen some of her stuff. She's very tall, right?
Yes. And she talks about plantar fasciitis, all the things.
Do you have plantar fasciitis?
Who's asking?
Me.
Okay, yes.
Is this HIPAA? Am I allowed? Am I allowed to ask about your...
I may or may not.
How many episodes are going to include the medical
Cynthia's
history?
Medical issues. I'm telling you. I mean, things go to where when you hit a certain age. And yes. And so Leanne Morgan is hilarious.
But what is plantar... I don't even know what plantar fasciitis is.
Oh, okay. Well, it's I don't know, something with your plantar fasciitis, the back of your
what part of your body are we talking about? Okay, your foot.
Oh, you thought it was real personal?
I don't know.
Getting real nervous.
What part of your body are we talking about? Can we say it? Do we need to change my rating?
It's the back of your foot. And so when you get out of bed in the morning, it gets all tight, and it's you get up and you're it's excruciating. So you have to wear certain shoes, and they're hey, you should rub your foot on a tennis ball and do all these things. I don't do any of it. I just complain about it. But Leanne Morgan, that's why I love her. She's so funny. And it sounds like we're doing an ad for her. We're not doing an ad to anybody. But okay.
Is she your surprise guest?
Yes. Leanne. I only wish. Wouldn't that be awesome though? Okay. So then I'm telling you this, you guys, everyone, please listen to this. We had a heat dome this summer in Texas and other places.
This is coming out September 1st. It's probably 200 degrees in Texas if it just keeps going up.
Horrid. And so I decided, I'm sorry, kids, this is the summer when you sit inside and watch comedians with me on Netflix. And so you have to find a few clean-ish ones, right? Yeah. Yes. Okay. Well, I ran across this one, Kevin James. Everybody know Kevin James, King of Queens, Mall Cop. Okay.
Cop, the segue. He's so good.
Okay, you guys. I don't know that the whole thing was clean. I'm not by any means advocating you put this on with the grandparents for Thanksgiving. But he has this bit that he does about how lactose intolerant people are the most annoying people in the world. And I say this to all of you lactose intolerant people. I have plantar fasciitis, so please don't feel judged. But he talks about how he's next time I invite you over and ask if you want ice cream, just a simple no. You don't have to tell me that's going to tear up your innards and all the things it's going to do to you. So he starts talking about that. And then he moves on to the next one. He's and then he goes, but they're not really that bad. I mean, you get to these gluten people, they'll change your restaurant. They'll say, no, there's not the gluten-free options. We have to go somewhere else. So he starts going to them. And then he goes but he's then you get these nut people, these nut allergies. And he's that's the queen bee of the allergies. He's because they're That's funny that you're lactose intolerant. You get a tummy ache. I have a nut allergy. And if anyone even breathes one tiny drop of nut, I will die right here.
Yeah.
He goes this whole bit. I was rolling. So now from here on out, heretofore, if you have any sort of food allergy, I'm going to need you to just say no, thank you. And we're not going to talk about it anymore.
You're not going to talk about it.
Kevin James, he kills me. So everyone need to watch that. I mean, I've just laughed.
Have you
all
watched
summer.
Nate Bargatze?
Yes. I've watched
Tennessee
Little Nate.
Kid.
Funny too.
Funny.
And then on Instagram, you guys, this is like, I almost feel like we should make this Patreon. I'm giving such great information.
Yeah.
We might need to charge for this.
Okay.
Joking.
Yeah.
Alex James, have you watched him on, he does reels on Instagram.
No.
It's ALX, I guess. He's going by Alex. ALX James. And
ALX
James. Yeah. And we might get hate mail. If so, send it directly to Heather McFadden, please. He does, like, he dresses up like he's a mom, and he does these bits as a mom, and my kids send them to me every day, and they're like, this is so you. And like, he's in a restaurant, and it's like how your mom acts in a restaurant. She's like, can we please move? The air's too high over here.
Are you high maintenance?
Oh, well, I don't know. My kids say I'm a Karen.
And Karen. But see, mine say I'm a Karen when I'm like correcting them, and I say, I'm just caring for you. Get it? I'm just
caring.
I'm just caring for you. And so
that's not going to get you a Netflix comedy show.
No, but like you're not caring that way. You're caring for yourself. You want it to be nice for you. What would you complain about in a restaurant?
Well, for my kids claim, I'm not a Karen, but my kids claim that I've never sat in the actual booth that the hostess seats us up. That I'm always like, would you mind if we went to that table? Or
what are you trying to do? Maximize?
I don't know. I don't know why I do it.
You just don't. You want to be in charge?
No, I just like, there's always some, I don't know. My kids also say that like the biggest sin committed against me is when we're in a restaurant, I'll be like, can I have a Diet Coke? And like, oh, we only have Pepsi products. And you should
you leave?
No, but my son, Brett, always says that I go, oh, Pepsi. I'll just have a water with lemon.
You're like Meg Ryan and When Harry Met Sally. You want like the it on the warm, but with the ice cream on the side. But if you don't have you can't, then forget the whole thing.
Oh, right. Yeah. Exactly. I've been called Karen all summer. That's why I'm glad they're in school.
We need a new word for just high maintenance.
I don't know.
Karen that doesn't seem right for this.
Well, the other Karen. Well, Karen is just the person who's so particular and everything's supposed to be a certain way.
I feel like it's like speak to the manager is Karen. Okay, so another thing that we need to update everybody on is I was talking to you and I said, well, we should ask Chat GPT.
Yeah, I was like, what's that?
Write something up to give us a name for our show, like what we should call ourselves. And you...
Yeah, I had no clue. I was like, Chat who?
Chat who? And I said, well, it's like AI. And you said, what?
It was like Billy Ross all over again. Or
Billy.
Bob or whoever. Yeah.
I said, AI, artificial intelligence. You said, I have no clue. I didn't know what to do. Because in our family... We had an Alexa. Oh my goodness. My kids were little when we got our first Alexa.
I know what Alexa is, everyone.
Okay. But we say frequently out loud, the McFaddians love robots so that we get on the right list when AI takes over. And I don't know if the yanofs are going to be on the right list if you don't even acknowledge the existence of AI.
I had no idea. I mean, I had no idea, but I'm going to tell you something.
Well, maybe people listening don't know either. What did you learn?
Okay, here's what I learned. Well, I don't feel like I'm the person to explain this. Like this,
I want to know your version.
Basically, Heather mocked, and I asked
I was in shock.
That's a form of mockery. And I asked my college daughter, who already has a little of that college smirk, that I'm a little smarter than you smirk. And Kate, shout out, we love you. But she got that I'm smarter than you smirk. And so I said, hey, are you familiar with this AI? And she's like, oh, Karen, yes. And she's like, what are you? And so anyway, we were in Colorado when all this was going on. And so she played, or whatever you do, an episode of our show from the summer. And it wrote a summary. And then she asked it, what would you name a new show? Blah, blah. And it gave all these ideas. Like it's that AI, she real smart.
I love that it's a she.
She real smart.
She real smart. If y'all haven't checked out Chat GPT, I would do it before your children. We're in the middle of our tech series here on Don't Mom Alone. And one aspect that we haven't addressed is the AI. Going back to school, I remember midway through spring semester, all my boys' private high schools were sending out notes about We have something that we will be able to tell if your child used ChatGPT to write their essay.
Lies.
But they're using it.
I know, but do you think they really can figure it out? Maybe.
I don't know. Maybe
my kid just over the summer became a brilliant writer.
I think even in one of my son's classes, the teacher showed them, like in front of them, an essay being created by ChatGPT and how she could see the difference in the voice from the student. Like she showed the student's writing and then the ChatGPT.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I'm just saying, y'all, make sure you've had this conversation with your kids.
Yeah.
That this is, I don't know. There are places for technology that help us. I appreciate my air fryer. I appreciate my coffee maker, simplifying some things. I appreciate that ChatGPT can summarize our show and listen and help us. But I don't know that I want my kid to not be able to write or think for themselves.
Yeah, no, I get it. There's the good and the bad of it. Well, I thought it was amazing. I mean, nobody was more
She was like, this ChatGPT.
Oh,
I tell you what.
You almost don't need to get married anymore. You can just like ChatGPT with the person and like have all the conversation you want to have.
That is actually what there's a ChatGPT on Snapchat. So you can ask it questions.
Oh, it'll just talk back to you?
Yeah, and have like
because Siri is so outdated. My little one tries to talk to Siri. He's like, Siri, what's your favorite color? She's like, I don't have a favorite color. My makeup says that blah, blah. I'm like, no, Siri, just say green. Do you not know anything about kids? Just say a color and move on. So yeah, I think there's something there.
But I would suggest, my next suggestion is to say out loud, the Yanofs love robots. Get on the right list.
Okay.
It's just my little tip. That's my parenting tip.
Okay. I thought we were going to maybe head towards like Jesus makes the only list that matters, but we're not going there this episode. So we'll save that for another day.
I want to thank Proactive for sponsoring this portion of the podcast. Do y'all remember Proactive? I do, from my teen days. And there was nothing that robbed me of joy in the school years, in the middle school and high school years, than acne. And so I was thrilled when I heard about Proactive's newest skincare innovation, Proactive Clean. It is a gentle skincare routine formulated to clear mild acne to occasional breakouts for sensitive skin, because Proactive is formulated without parabens, phthalates, sulfates, cyclic silicones, and 100+ no ingredients. And y'all know Proactive is America's #1 clear skin routine. It is dermatologist developed and tested. They've helped over 20 million people on their clear skin journey. I got their 3-pack. It has 3 different steps. I thought that may not be too many for my teen boys, but I have a couple boys that are in that early mild stage of acne with a couple of breakouts here or there. And Proactive is the perfect choice, where I know that they're not going to have a bunch of chemicals in their product with this new clean line. So go to proactive.com now. Use the exclusive promo code DMA for Don't Mom Alone, DMA, to get 20% off your first order. So go to proactive.com, use that promo code DMA to get 20% off your first order. Proactive is spelled PROACTIV.
All right.
Oh, yeah. But hopefully y'all are, it's September 1st. I know parts of the country, Canada, they start after Labor Day. So maybe you're needing a little back to school pep talk.
Right.
What do you feel? I feel like I always buy a calendar on the school year rotation, not a January rotation. It feels like a good time, a good start over. There's a lot of hope in a new.
No, there is no hope like the hope of September, and there is no demise and destruction like May 15th.
Yeah. Or I just interviewed someone that came on a couple weeks ago. If y'all haven't listened to my convo with Dr. Kelly, she said mid-October is when it all goes to hell in a handbasket. All your hopes and dreams.
They're all shot by October 15th.
Yeah. But I don't know. Do you make resolutions for the year, or do you think, okay, this year we're going to be about X, Y, and Z in the Yanof household, or do you just do it for yourself?
Right. Okay. So I don't really do per se New Year's resolutions, because like you're saying, I run in a school year frame of mind. So September to May, right?
So you do school year resolutions.
I kind of do school year resolutions. It's not like some formal, like I sit down and I'm going to have a planner and we're going to write. It's not really that as much, but I do like to assess like what worked last school year, what didn't, what would I like us like to end? Because listen, you know, you've got a senior in high school now.
Yeah.
This school year flies once it gets rolling. And so I'm like, okay, what are the things I've got to be like conscientious about it. And so I wrote down a couple of things this year that I'm hoping that we can make some, you know, some improvements on. And so I'm going to start with this. I just read the book. Have you read Atomic Habits?
I feel like I have with how many people have quoted it, but I have not.
Okay. I don't know. I don't know how I ran across it. And I'm a Enneagram 3. I know not everybody loves the Enneagram. I get that. I mean, I love Jesus too, you guys, even more.
Yeah.
But I do feel like as a 3, as an achiever like this, Atomic Habits, I started reading it. And I was like, oh yeah, like this helps me. And so the whole idea, I'm just going to give you like a couple little quotes, but like every action you take is a vote for the person you wish to become. Yes. And so what are your habits? What are you voting for of who you want to be? Like, what are the little things you can do? And so the whole focus, to nutshell it maybe for me, has been that like, you don't be worried about this end result. I want to run a marathon next year.
Yes.
What do you do? What's the little thing you can do today?
And he would say, put out the tennis shoes.
Yeah. Put out your tennis shoes. Stack it with another habit. What's something you know you're going to do? I'm going to brush my teeth every morning. Great. Put your tennis shoes right next to your toothbrush. Not really. But you know, and then that's the next thing you do. Make it easy. Make it something that falls within habits you're already doing. And another big quote that you've probably heard, it says, too often we convince ourselves that massive results require massive action, where it's really not the case. Start doing little things. And so I've been reading through this and thinking about like, what are some of the things that I want to habit into this year with my family? Because our kids follow our leads a lot. Yeah. And so one of the things I want to resolve to, there's several, but the one I want to mention, one of the things I want to habit into better after reading Atomic Habits, and I want to work towards with my kids, it's just, what are the habits that I can put in place that will lead me closer to the Lord? And I know that sounds like so maybe over spiritualized or whatever, but
so holy.
I am very holy. And I'm glad we were able to point that out. But like literally like talking to my kids and myself about like, is my Bible in the right place? Do I have it in the same place with my prayer journal so that I'm praying for my kids every day? And all this is easy to find in one place. Is there a pin next to it? Like, what's a little habit I can put into place? Like studying the Bible. Like I actually bought a commentary last year, best thing I ever done, because they're all online. But for some reason, having the actual written one sitting with my stuff helped me to kind of read the Bible a little better, to understand it.
I'll like go to my phone to look up a word on my Strong Concordance app.
Yes.
But then I picked up my phone.
Yes. And then you're looking at your text.
And then you're back in your
you're
phone.
You're tap backing everyone. I know. That takes you like 12 seconds
and
to
then
do
I've
all
got
those.
this 12-second tap back situation. No, but I do think if I had an actual big, gigantic Strong's Concordance, I don't know. It would keep me off my phone. I think that's good. A small habit to get you connected with God. And do you do your time with God after kids are off at school, before?
It varies. I want to be one of those people that's like, every morning I do it a certain way. My husband does. I mean, every single morning, early, he's up and he goes to work early.
Do you want to hear my dad's habit when we were little?
Yeah.
He had a little trampoline, a little circular trampoline in front of the window, and he would jog on it. Like I can just still picture him like barely lifting his knees, but like jog on it, and he would pray. That was when he would pray. And then he kept the Bible on the back of the toilet. When he took his morning poop is when he read his Bible.
Okay.
So that's TMI.
Right.
But he did, he always, had the habit.
But that's exactly, he should have written Atomic Habits. You and I would be on we'd be in like some island somewhere. That's just it. It's just putting
How dirty was that Bible though?
Just putting things in place. And so that's what, and I use my spiritual walk as one of them, but that's like one of my resolutions, and to help my kids do that well, because
how are you going to help your kids with that?
Well, I was thinking,
because I feel like I keep dropping hints like, guys want to read your Bibles? Leave them out on the table. Nothing.
Well, giving them, like my kids, like ordering a new devotional for all of them. I try to do that usually at Christmas, but I'm going to do it September this year. And
do boys open devotionals?
Brett actually will. I know.
Oh,
I don't know. I mean, yes.
Disciple my senior.
And you know what? He started keeping his Bible and his devotional in his truck, and he gets to school a little early just to
This
beat
is
this crowd.
genius.
And he does it at school. Like he's habited that in, which I'm like, and so again, my kids get it wrong a lot, but that's one
No,
example.
that's a genius. That's
But
a good
even-
idea if y'all have teens.
Yeah. Do it in the car. And then with
Not while you're driving.
my daughter, while you're driving, my daughter in college, like we were just talking, I'm like, she has an accountability partner that goes to a different school. And so I'm like, why don't you meet with her while you're both here this summer? And then how can y'all set up a routine? So we've been talking about like habiting that into a routine every Thursday night. We're going to talk accountability on the phone.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm just trying to be very intentional. So that's one of my things.
No, I like that. One of my things I always want to do, and then it ends up not happening. I heard from one of my guests, Chantel Brewer, that she would host this Taco Tuesday.
Oh.
The last Tuesday of the month, she would open up her home to any of the kids' friends, any of the kids' like youth leaders, teachers, anybody could come over. And you just bring a part of the taco making thing. Like you bring the shredded cheese or you bring and I have the meat and the tacos and the core stuff. Anyway, so I have put it in the calendar already. The last Tuesday of every month, Taco Tuesday, I've invited the big boys so they know it's happening. So it goes on their phone, on their calendars. I've invited my husband. Anyway, we'll see how it goes. But that's something that...
So everybody's invited? Like their friends, everybody? Or are you saying just your
everybody,
family?
my family and whoever...
Because I'm going to bring my whole family over.
Totally. Taco Tuesday, open your home and you just say, come on.
Okay. I think
High
that's
school minister.
anybody.
Yeah. I mean, you could technically be like, okay, since we're at 3 different schools, I could say, okay, the teachers for this one school, they're invited, and this school, they're invited, and or this church group, whatever. But I'm going to give it a shot because it's something I don't want to end this whole parenting gig and have regrets.
Yes.
And just see how it goes.
Totally. Okay.
Yeah.
I like that. By the way, I wanted to interject something, and then that's going to lead to another one of my resolutions.
Okay.
I want to interject something. I'm used to being on the other side of the mic with my own podcast like you are. Like, I mean, this is just both of us talking. When I went back and listened to some of the summer ones, I realized I've always known I talk very fast. I know that about myself. But you kind of talk very slow and methodical. And literally, this is how it sounded when I went back and listened. It's like, Heather's like, this is Heather. Anyway, my children and I'm like, oh, okay, well, what about your children? I was like, why am I jumping in and
why do we even go back and listen?
Never listen.
Never listen.
Listen. Do not ever listen. And you and I are used to editing or listening to our own podcast.
No, I don't. I mean, now I hired out. Shout out to Rachel.
Oh my gosh, you guys, that
you
happened.
need a Rachel.
She literally just dropped that. Rachel.
Okay, girl, 10 years. You get by year whatever, 7, you get a Rachel.
Okay. Anyway, yes, and don't listen to yourself. Okay, but enough of that. So I just wanted everyone to note that I'm trying to.
But what else are we doing new
back.
this year?
Okay, so
we have some other fun new things.
Okay, we do.
There's things with your kids, and we want you guys to reflect on what is. Don't make this massive. This doesn't have to be massive. No. What's the thing when you look back and you're like, man, I wish we'd had more family dinners at home, or I wish we'd. I don't know, done homework differently. I remember after COVID, we realized one of my sons benefited from having a desk in his room to do his homework. Mm-hmm. That at the end of a day with being all people all the time, he really actually did better going to his room doing his homework versus sitting at the kitchen table, which is what I'd always done. And it was awful. He would be at the kitchen table and I'd be, come on, get back to your work, get back to your work. He was like telling everyone to be quiet. We were all too loud. So tiny things and shifts that you could try out.
Yeah, little shifts.
What's something you could try out was a stressor last year that could be less stressful this year?
Yeah.
Maybe.
I mean, I just think it'll look, different for everybody. But I will say this, I think this kind of leads into maybe even what we talked about last month when we announced we're doing this. But I was thinking about, there's this whole, just one of the things I really want to do well this year is soak in the moments.
Yeah.
Because, and I know people say that and you're like, what does that even mean? And
be fully present.
Yes, I know. And you're like, I can barely be fully present. And I know my mom will say sometimes she's precious, but she'll be like, you're going to miss this someday. I'm like, well, that day isn't today that I'm going to miss it. So let's not talk about that. But I will say this. When my oldest Kate graduated and went to college a couple of years ago, I decided at the end of the year, I don't think I've told y'all about this, about doing a scrapbook. I decided I was going to do a scrapbook. Have we talked about this?
No.
Okay. And so I'm not scrapbooky at all, especially, And we're not artistic people.
In the
Evidence by
yanof
the
home?
fact. Not a one of us. Okay, so I was like, while she went on her senior trip with the school, I was gonna do her scrapbook. And so I went and I pulled it out and I was like, well, that's too bad. Like literally only thing in there is like her hospital tag. Like I bagged it in, and that's first child, you guys. So
You're talking about baby book kind of
yeah, like the baby
scrapbooking.
scrapbook. Sorry, yes.
Wow.
Okay, and some of these listening are like, oh, I've done creative
You didn't
memories.
have her hair?
No, and I
her
didn't keep
first
that nasty
haircut?
belly button.
You didn't?
No,
I have that, the
gosh.
umbilical cord
You did?
for each of them and a little envelope in their
That's
baby book.
disgusting.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I'm sure it's disintegrated. Like it's
I can't.
real tissue.
La 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 la.
We didn't eat the placenta.
Ah!
That happens
Okay,
though.
well, no one's listening anymore. But for the one person, my mom, who's still listening to this,
We're gonna get DMs about people who ate the placenta, and you're gonna get hate mail now.
ugh.
I'm just saying.
But in terms of soaking in the moments, here's what I would just say. When I did Kate's scrapbook, her little baby book, and I got it out and I got all the things, and I did it and I had a hard time when my oldest went to college. Like when she was getting ready, I mean, I cried like a year. It was horrible.
You emotionally had a hard time.
Oh my gosh, yes, because she's my
Okay.
only girl and the first one to go and all the things.
Okay.
So I worked on this thing like a whole week, and I mean, I got all the choir programs from kindergarten, and I got the honor society and all the things, right? And I finished it up, and I sat down with that book, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna cry it out because I'm gonna go through this whole thing, and I'm gonna bawl. And but actually, when I started going through it, like I'm flipping the pages, and I was like, oh my gosh, she was an ugly baby. Like she really was. Like she came out real ugly. Everyone, it's fine. She's real cute now. And then I was like, oh, her toddler years, she was so strong-willed. And then I flipped over to like, her elementary years and freaking out about what school are we going to go to, and all these, it's such a big deal. And junior high, I looked at how awkward, I'm like, oh, her hair was greasy. And then high school, I'm like, wow, she's starting to become who I know her to be now, and she's so pretty. And like I went this whole thing at the end, and I had her graduation pictures in there, and she just walked the stage and all the cute pictures. And I just shut that baby book, and I was like, wow, like who gets to do this? Like how good is God that he lets us have all these moments? And it's just, I now have like the proverbial scrapbook that I wish I could have handed myself 10, 15, 18 years ago, because now I see the bigger picture, which is I know now the big trips to Hawaii or Colorado or all those things, the things that were supposed to be the big things, I'm doing air quotes, they weren't the big things.
No.
But all those drives to practice, just having the conversation, staying up a little bit too late, going and getting ice cream when you shouldn't, all those little things, those are what made the DNA of our family and really of who she is now. And when I ask my kids these questions and I'm like, what were the big things? It's never the things that I freaked out about. It's never the had to be in the right school or had to have the right trip or we had to live in the right zip code or whatever the things are that we stress about. And so I just would say, like, as I'm looking at this next year, like I want to hand myself that scrapbook again for my next two that are still in the house and say, like, enjoy the moments, maximize the moments, the little places, and then don't sweat the rest.
Well, and realize you don't even have to be too forceful with maximizing the moments.
Right.
It's more about not being, I think what happens is I get distracted in trying to create the big things that I miss the moments.
Mm-hmm.
So if you get that flip of, okay, it's just living the life and being with the people right where you belong.
Oh my gosh, she just totally pushed her book again.
Yeah.
Mine doesn't come out till February, but I'm going to be
what's yours going to be
shameless. Life is messy. God is good. I'm going to be shameless talking about that.
Is this a good endorsement sheet that I need to fill out?
Oh my gosh. I asked this girl, Heather McFadden.
I got it printed out. Aren't you proud of me?
To endorse my book about 6 months ago.
I'm going to do it. Another great option to help you this back to school season is Stitch Fix. Whether you're using them for your own wardrobes, for all those meet the teachers, and we have mini school nights and all the different events, maybe even the sidelines of a football game, and you want to look cute, you might need some help. And what I love is Stitch Fix understands you. You have your own stylist. You have your own closet on their website where you've taken a quiz. They know what you like, what you don't like, and it's in your sizes. So you're not going to have to search and see, do they have this in my size? You can also do this for kids. I love that you can put in your budget. You can do a quick fix that they send you 5 items right to your door. They have sizes extra small to 3XL, so you're going to find the perfect fit. Then you try everything on at home and you keep whatever works for you. I have really, really, really loved this feature when it comes to my kids because it is really hard to get my boys to want to go into a store and try on a bunch of things. But if I get Stitch Fix to send it to me, I go through what I think is going to work and I have them try on just those few things. That has been the best option for us. They have over 1,000 brands and styles. So no matter what season of life you're in, they have you covered. And you can just order a refresh as needed. Or if you like getting regular boxes, you can have it set and forget about it. You're in control. Thanks to Stitch Fix, they just get me. They'll get you too. Try today at stitchfix.com/DMA. You'll get 25% off when you keep everything in your fix. That's stitchfix.com/DMA. stitchfix.com/DMA.
So, okay, well,
what else are we doing? We have books. We have this podcast. You know what we need is more businesses.
And then don't forget Mesmerize, which I know you forget, but you're on it all the time.
No, I said podcasts. We have podcasts. We have books, and we have.
Heather and I have new businesses, and they're not together.
What's so funny is we go to lunch, and I just was launching my business, and she is just launching a business, and they actually work well together, and they're not competitive.
I'm going to make it competitive. I don't know how.
No. They go together like peanut butter and jelly.
Like chocolate and peanut butter. Okay, listen. And nothing's going to make us sound older than what we're about to say.
You know what? I'm realizing nobody knows about this. The amount of people that
What a great business.
No, it has room to grow.
Based on a concept that no one's heard of.
We're going to grow. The market is ready.
Are you okay? Are you?
So
it's
you
right.
yours.
Are you ready?
Yeah, you pitch yours.
Well,
first.
I'm just going to say generally what the concept is.
Yeah.
Mahjong.
And you haven't heard of it. Probably is what I've discovered.
Unless it's just
Orlando. I go to Orlando. No one heard of it. I'm talking to people from Chicago. They haven't heard of it. Nashville. Nope. Even talked to Jamie Ivey. She hadn't heard of Mahjong. In Austin. I know.
Okay, Mahjong is a game, you guys, and it's...
If you've seen Crazy Rich Asians.
It's the end. Yeah, the end.
Have you seen that movie?
Oh, it's my favorite movie.
And you didn't sleep through it?
No, I stayed awake in that one. That's shocker.
That's shocker.
Yes,
so the
it's a
end
game.
scene where she is playing against her what will be mother-in-law, spoiler, a game with tiles, and they're really beautiful Asian drawings on them.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the feel of the tiles. You play 4 people at a table. It's great.
It's great. It's got a hard learning curve. Did you hear me there?
Hard because you
stop interrupting me. I'm trying to act like I'm not a weird interrupting and all.
Okay.
Hi, Heather.
Yeah. Okay.
You're
doing calm talk.
I've got trauma from this summer's recordings.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding.
Calm talk.
I'm just kidding. You didn't
interrupt.
interrupt.
It has a strong learning curve.
Okay. I feel like it has a pretty strong learning curve, but people teach it.
Mm-hmm.
And when they teach it to you, like when you have professionals come in and teach it, it's so much easier. And I have a friend that actually has a business that teaches Mahjong.
Yeah, it's called
Don't Maj Along Alone. I couldn't
Don't Maj Alone.
So that's your business that you're teaching Mahjong.
That's my business. Me and my friend Amber, we come to your house. We bring 2 Mahjong sets.
Uh-huh.
So 8 people, and we teach. Yeah.
That's so fun.
It is not only you get to learn a new game, but we really feel like the reason people want to learn is they want that's the belonging piece.
Totally.
They want to be invited.
You should write a book about that.
Yeah. Don't mom alone, don't Maj alone. So they're learning so that you get invited into the group. When people are like, oh, I play Mahjong, you can say, me too. And then you get to go and be a part of it. Now there's some serious ones.
Oh yeah, they don't mess around. My friend went to a group, like a community group that was playing, and one of the ladies
not community group, like church community group.
Oh, not church. No, like in the community, a group was playing, and one lady started talking, and another lady said, "I'm not here to socialize. I'm here to play the game." That's tough crowd. But yes,
it is tough.
My neighborhood, you guys, y'all need to do this. Figure this out. I don't even care. Play bunco, Pekino, something. But we'd like you to play Mahjong.
Pekino?
But yeah, do you know that one? No. It's like bunco.
Okay.
But in my neighborhood, like there is a group that plays all the time. And there's a couple girls, but they'll just, Sunday afternoon at 3, someone will text me like, who can come over and play? Or they have we just had a Christmas in July one. Everybody dressed Christmassy. It was so fun. But Is
that your favorite things party too?
That was a different party I went to.
Okay. Cynthia's social calendar. I don't even know.
You got to get up pretty early to get me, friends. Said no one ever.
Okay. So if I'm playing Mahjong.
Okay.
one, you can buy really expensive, beautiful tiles.
Yeah.
Like $400. The Mahjong line.
They're gorgeous.
Gorgeous. But $400. No.
I know.
I got mine on the Amazon from my mother-in-law. She got it for me for Christmas.
Yeah.
But I did get the Mahjong line mat that she bought me with my little initials. Very pretty.
Oh, pretty.
Yeah. But there's other products people have. And I have a friend and she sells really clever, witty, Mahjong themed products. It's called Mad Fromage.
Mad Fromage on Instagram, everyone.
And Mad Fromage.
Yes.
And Mage, we have to say MAHJ.
Mad 4, like the number 4. Yes, me and some friends, like on a whim, because one of the tiles there in the game is called a wind. And I was like, we should start a wind. And I was like, we should start a company and call it Break Wind.
You mentioned that one of the summer.
Okay, I thought that was so funny. Well, I got nixed on that, but we all started laughing about wouldn't it be fun to have cute products, and so we ended up doing it. And then they are literally, we have like the cute styrofoam cups that you see that have like university.
They're bad
or
for the environment, but
they're fine. Everyone, we're gonna recycle them. Whatever.
You can't recycle.
Oh, you can't.
No. You're big in recycling up in Plano. Okay, so what do they say on them? What are some sayings?
Styrofoam cups. We have napkins. We have, you guys, this is the genius. We have coasters, like those cute little thin coasters, like multicolored. Yeah. They have the rules on them because there's certain rules you can't remember, like related to jokers.
Even if I come and teach you, you would need the
You're
rules.
going to need these. Yeah. So anyway, we have all these fun. But I think what we were trying to do to distinguish us, I was trying to make them funny. Shocking, right? I was trying to find a funny angle. And so, like, for example, you play on like racks. Like there's 2 racks or, there's...
Your tiles are sitting on a rack.
So one of our sayings on the napkins is, I can see a rack.
I like, don't look at my rack.
Don't look at my rack. We have another one.
Are you peeking at my rack?
We have another one that's another one of the tiles called a crack. And so
one of the suits.
One of the suits is called a crack.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so we have a joke about the crack. We have like where there's a wind, there's a way. Wind is another one. All the different things. So we have kind of clever expressions, but they're cute and they're designed well. So anyway, Mad Fromage. I don't know why we're talking about this. I don't know if we're shipping.
I'm just saying that it's our next year. We've got a lot going on. People are like, I thought I was going to scale back. Because I have a senior, and I've heard senior year is a lot.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. I got to get him into college. Can I mention that again? We got to get into college.
Uh-huh.
And I've got to get another one into high school because our school ends in 8th grade.
Yes,
so we got to apply for that too. So I already knew I have a lot in my year.
And then you
those
took
2
on
things.
this.
And so then I should do more podcasting. I should start a business where I teach people Mahjong. But I don't know. It's fun.
You know what? Just do the fun things. I think that maybe that's another way. That's a good way to tie this all in. Like, as we're going into September, like, I think I've had years where I've taken things so seriously and I've just come out of a season of kind of hard and very serious, and I'm done with that. I'm ready to have some fun. And so, yes, I'm so excited to be doing like Don't Mom Alone extra. What are these bonus? We don't even have a name. Whatever we're doing, we're going to do this. We're going to have fun. I'm still doing Mesmerized, obviously, my podcast. You and I are both doing Mahjong business. We're going to try to overlap it some, but just trying to do the things.
Well, and things outside of your family, maybe even just a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's what I heard us talking about too is, yes, it's about the school year, and yes, our families matter and we want to make memories and be present. But at the same time, like if I'm all in on my senior son, I know he's going to have other plans. It's his last year to be home too. So if I'm just sitting around twiddling my thumbs thinking, oh, I've got to be with him every second before he goes to college, and he's not here.
Big feelings.
Oh, I'm going to have a lot of feelings, I guess.
Bruce is going to be like, oh, buckle up.
But I do feel like a mom and a son, you may feel this with Brett. We've already individuated. Like there's already been a grief of you moved on. I don't know that for daughters that happens.
An end of the what?
Individuating. Like you're your own person. I'm already separated myself, and I am not as influential in their lives as I once was. As I just feel like teen boys kind of cut that off earlier with the moms. They may have a closer relationship with dad. Does that make sense?
It does.
So the dad might be more sad is what I'm saying than I'm going to be, because I've already grieved like the relationship that was.
Yeah, it's interesting you said that too, because I am seeing that with like my daughter and I, when she left, again, struggled because she's a lot like me. We have the same sense of humor. Like she's just, I mean, the way she comes down the stairs has a certain cadence that is like joyful. Even, I know that sounds dumb, but it's all those things that I miss when I'm like, I'm going to miss this. This is going to, and once she was gone, by the way, for anybody sending a kid to college, whatever, for me, by far the hardest was the anticipation of her going. Once she was there and having fun and living her life and figuring it out, we all did fine. But the anticipation was hard. With my son, it's interesting because you said that about maybe being closer with their dad. The other night, Brett was on Mesmerized. I interviewed him and asked him like 30 questions just about teenage life, teenage boys. And one of the things like he said was like the most pivotal things that happened is apparently Mike, my husband, sent him a text, a couple weeks ago and just encouraging him or whatever. And I just had to kind of laugh to myself because I'm like, I literally have been there every morning to send you to school. I have picked you up every day until you could drive. I'm home when you come in. I try to have groceries. I write the notes, all that. Mike sends a text and he's like, I mean, my dad's support has been I'm like, what? And of course, I mean, I love my husband. I'm glad that Brett feels supported by him, but it is, I mean,
it's a different relationship.
It's a different relationship.
Yeah.
So.
And just taking it for what it is. Yeah. Okay, y'all. Good luck.
Don't mom alone.
Don't mom alone. No, we'll see you back here next month, October, and we'll be just.
Are we going to link our Maj stuff? No, we don't care.
Totes.
Aren't we fun?
We're totally fun.
Hey, and by the way, if
maybe it's inspirational for them to, I don't know. I'm thinking I need to train people in different cities to be trainers. I'm thinking this is going like a pyramid scheme.
Here's what I see happening. This pyramid scheme. She may or may not do time.
You can be an affiliate to Mad for Maj.
Here's the thing. What if you and I went on our trailer park tour?
Yes.
Because I don't feel like you and I are at risk of selling out the Dickies Arena or the local arenas anywhere, and on our parking lot tour, and then we'll teach you Mahjong. So if anybody wants us to come speak at your church, and then
8
you're like,
people, that's all we need.
We just need 8 of you, and you could be
4,
like,
just 4, 2. We'll join in the game.
We could either come speak to your church or your local group, and you could have us come, or you could be like, I don't think they're that good, and we could just come teach Mahjong.
Or just play.
And I'll bring products.
Put us in a closet with a table and I'll bring my set.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. DM us directly for all of you that are dying to have us out.
Mahjong tour. Here we come. All right. Thanks, Cynthia.
Thank you.
Bye. Okay. A couple things I wanted to say after listening back to the convo we had. Since we recorded, I was at a Young Men's Service League meeting, and we had a speaker come from a local university here to talk about AI. And afterwards, I had a conversation with a mom, and it was interesting. Something I hadn't considered when Cynthia and I were having our conversation on AI is not necessarily can they have a tool, which there is a tool out there, Turbano or something like that, that can look for what they think might be plagiarized material. It sometimes over attributes plagiarized material. And I think that one aspect I hadn't thought about was that possibly our kids could be accused of plagiarizing or using ChatGPT when they hadn't. And it was interesting. I was talking to my son yesterday, and he was like, oh, I had an in-class essay. And I'm just curious if that's going to be more of a thing when it comes to school assignments that they'll be writing in class. Anyway, just thought I'd add that in as we're in our tech series, a piece of what's going on with our kids and navigating that and putting technology in its place, realizing what the benefits, but also being aware and alert to how it can be misused or misinterpreted. Just wanted to add that in since it happened after I recorded with Cynthia. Thanks for getting sidetracked with Cynthia and I. We will be back with another Sidetracked episode the first Friday in October. And I'll be back here on Monday with a conversation with my friend Kristen Glass. She's going to share her real story with us, a tiny little break from our tech series. And if you want to make sure you get all these episodes just dropped right into your listen now on iTunes, make sure you're subscribed. When you're subscribed, it just pops into your feed. It's so nice. Lets you know when there's a new episode available. All right. Have a great week and adios.
Greetings and God bless. This is Tyler Burns.
And this is Dr. Jamar Tisby.
And we want to invite you to check out our podcast, Pass the Mic, dynamic voices for a diverse church.
Pass the Mic has been speaking directly to the core concerns of Black Christians for over a decade.
On our show, we've got interviews from theologians, historians, actors, activists, and so much more.
Not to mention heartfelt, open dialogue on some of the heaviest issues facing the church in the United States.
Be sure to subscribe to the show on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. We'll see you there on the next Pass the Mic.